Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of the Dungeon Lore series. In this series, I hope to explain the origins of each dungeon in Final Fantasy XIV, and maybe expand a bit on things you might not know. This episode's dungeon is the Tam-Tara Deepcroft, the second dungeon accessible during the main scenario quests. The Tam-Tara Deepcroft, located in the depths of the catacombs of Central Shroud, was built and used long ago as a burial ground for those of Gelmoran royalty and nobility. The name in Tam-Tara comes from Pajali naming conventions, similar to those used also by the Gelmora. Unchanged and unguarded since the time of the Gelmora, the upper sections of the Deepcroft slowly began to deteriorate and become overrun by beasts, where the lower sections still housed those belonging to the Innic and Mena nobility. In the current age of Eorzea, the Tam-Tara Deepcroft lies forgotten amongst the forest of Central Shroud, until the Grudanian authorities became aware of cultists making use of the strong etheric presence within the crypt to achieve their goals. These cultists are the Lambs of Dalamud, a particularly dangerous cult that wants and still believe that the lesser moon Dalamud, which fell during the 7th Umbral Calamity, was an entity representing the loyal hound belonging to Menfina, one of the 12 gods, and that spilling sacrificial blood, be it loyal or unwilling to the cause, would lure Dalamud towards the planet Hydling, causing devastation across the world, while they would be resurrected as servants in the new era. They even used trickery, deceit, and the promise of riches to lure victims down into the depths of Tam-Tara, where they would be slain to fuel Dalamud's descent. One more thing of note about these cultists is that prior to the Calamity, they seem to have a small hideouts within Sestasha and the Copperbell mines, as opposed to the Tam-Tara Deepcroft, which is where they would lure unsuspecting adventurers on false pretenses before having them sacrificed. Adventurers, continuing on from their successful escapades in Sestasha, are asked to visit Mother Miyun in Gridania, who informs you of these cultist activities and asks you to venture to the Deepcroft to investigate with other adventurers. Upon arrival in the dungeon, the party of adventurers walks out into a huge open area, with 4 ethereal-looking tethers feeding into a large dark bubble of energy. Looking over the ledge near the entry point of the party reveals the source of the ethereal binds, clearly coming from 4 separate ritual altars around the walls of the cavern. Following the path around into the first tunnel, the party encounters long-dead, zombified servants of the Gelmoran nobility, the Ak-Inik varlets and the Ak-Menar varlets, dedicated even beyond death to defend the tombs of their society. Further down the first tunnel, there is a side room containing several sarcophagi, although the room's condition, like most other places within the crypt, is unkempt and dilapidated. The party then re-emerges onto the open area, and immediately encounters the first of several Dalamud priests attempting to channel ether into the Dark Orb, who then fight the party as they attempt to stop the cult's plans. Once the imps and priests are both defeated, a void soul counter appears, presumably using the Dalamud priest's body as a host. Once the soul counter is defeated, the party then interacts with the cultist orb, causing it to fade away and stop channeling ether. The party continues into the next set of tunnels, where they encounter 2 ways that they can choose. Going left brings them to the tomb of the long-dead king of Gelmora, Galvanth the Dominator, who, even though was clearly a ruler at the time, now has his tomb as crumbling and as beast-filled as any other. Passing through the chamber where the deceased were interred, the party encounters another Dalamud priest, yet again channeling ether into the void-like orb. It is worth noting that even while participating in the rite of channeling, the priests are still eerily eager to obtain more fresh blood to sacrifice for their cause. The party defeats the void soul counter that yet again reveals himself on the priest's death, and turns to the final set of tunnels. As they push through the tunnels, the party encounters more and more of the Gelmoran undead guardians, seemingly showing that this part of the crypt was more sacred than the rest. Upon passing the cultist barrier and defeating the final set of guards, the party receives a cultist rosary, allowing them to dispel the barrier and confront Octaval the Unforgiving. Unfortunately, other than presuming that he is a leading name among the Lambs of Dalamud, There isn't really anything extra to say about Octavel. He seems as dedicated to his cause as the other priests, and he fights you just in the same way. At the beginning of the encounter, Octavel mentions that the Master will be pleased, presumably referencing the void sense that they have been communicating with via the channeling. Once defeated, a final soul counter appears, which the party handles the same way. After this, the party disables the 2 final cultist orbs, causing the abyssal cocoon above to react, swooping down and revealing within a Mind Flayer, who inhabits the vessel of Galvanth the Dominator himself, the long-dead King of Gelmora. He taunts the party and tells them to fight. During the fight, the party handles the imps that Galvanth calls forth as they protect him and avoid the Mind Flayer's signature Mind Blast attack. Upon defeat, he falls to the floor, vanishing back into the void from where he was sent. And that's the end of the lore for the Tam-Tara Deepcroft. A rather dark history within the lands of Dalamud made making this one quite enjoyable, as I learned a lot from researching them. I hope you enjoyed this video too. If you did, consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel for the next episode. And I'll see you next time for the Copperbell Mines.